All right, so in the words of Swasey, I'm going to say something, she going to say something, I'm going to say something back, she going to say something else, and we're going to talk about something on this channel. All right, so hi, my name's Kevin.
I'm Tarsha.
And this is Conversations with the Crawleys. And on this channel, we do lots of recaps, reviews, and commentaries of our favorite shows. And this one is all about the reunion special from the Miami season of Ready to Love. So, y'all know what to do by now. Hit that subscribe, hit the like, request notifications.
And share.
And we will see you in the comments. Consider becoming a member and check out the merch store. All right. The Pray, Hustle, Eat, Sleep, Repeat shirt, as well as the Grace Over Everything hoodie, all in the merch store. All right, so this season, y'all got to let us know what your thoughts are as far as this season, whether you really liked it, were feeling it, or if it was
It was
I had high hopes. There were some things I was like, but we'll kind of dig into it in the reunion. So Tommy, of course, does kind of his recap. Talks about kind of the lust versus love, because he's like, I don't know if y'all was really here for love, because some of y'all look like y'all was just lusting after what was available. He showed clips from the pool party, or the white party, and all the other parties that they had going on.
That's just how they get lit.
Yep. And then we find out about Devin's foot fetish.
That it wasn't just Sharice's big toe. No. It's a lot of big toes.
He on Foot Finder or something
He's
like
on Foot Finder. He got his own Foot Finder in his phone as well.
That's right. It looked like he be going around just snapping pictures of people's feet.
Can I take a picture of your foot?
So
whatever works for you.
Whatever works for you, that's
feet
your
gets
thing.
You off, then hey.
More power to you.
More power to you.
Yeah. All right. So then we go into Randall and Jamala's journey. And it's all, rainbows and stars and unicorns in the recap. And then when we actually see them, Jamala's like,
I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Something's off with the energy with this whole bunch tonight.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what happened. I don't know. I heard on Florida streets they might got some voodoo doctors. I don't know if someone put a Ouija board. I don't know what they were doing on this reunion. But it just didn't seem to have any energy. And then when it came to them, they were like, yeah, we're together. Yeah, we're working it out. What I heard is that we're together. I'm really confused right now.
Well, I'll say this. There's some energy coming in this reunion. There's some energy towards the end. There's some energy, right? Mm-hmm. But as far as Randall and Jamala, you could tell that something's off there, right?
Yeah, something off.
She, are they currently dating? Yes. But
supposedly,
she's
maybe
dating other people too. She's like, well, that's what I heard.
And he's like, what? Tommy's like, okay, let me get down to this. I'm gonna ask all these questions, and hopefully, one of these questions is gonna open this couple up to tell me what's going on.
And over on the side, Kayla is just rolling her eyes. Like, oh my God. Like her entire head is like, she's just like, I'm done.
I was like, what happened? What happened to the bridge scene? It just faded away.
Yeah. So I'm sure it looks like in part 2 of the reunion special, we'll get back to Jamala and what's the boy's name? Randall. Because Kayla and Trinika start making some comments.
Yep.
So we'll see how that plays out.
See.
Sharice. Then we have a segment with Sharice.
Yeah, they had a Mean Girl segment with Sharice.
No, they had the fake section.
So, well, we heard that. We heard 2 F words.
Oh, quite a few. But she plays the, well, I didn't mean no harm. I'm just real. I love hard. I'm passionate, da-da-da. And if you remember from the very first episode of this season, there's a moment where Dominica, I think is how she pronounces it. Dominica is having conversations, and she's just being herself, her personality. Right. And Sharice makes a comment like, well, Dominica, is that her stage name? Right. Now, everyone, even us, took that as she's calling her a stripper, basically.
Right. That she was being demeaning.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, no, we're in Miami. I thought it was just maybe your stage name.
Isn't Miami known for strip clubs?
And so even Tommy's like, okay, so hold on. Don't come with that. Because everybody know what you meant. What kind of state? Well, singing. No.
And now she can't understand why people want to call her fake.
Right.
It's because you make comments like that. Just be forthcoming.
You throw your rock and then you hide your hand.
So in this case, yes, I was being mean. And we tend to see that, right? Because I believe also there's colorism. And
oh, yeah.
And there's a lot involved with that.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And so this is how we come out, I say subconsciously, because, we're already fighting against everything else coming at us.
Right.
But then also within our own...
within our own race, culture,
right,
whatever.
Culture, whatever, we have colorism. And so I feel like that's where that came from.
Yeah.
And so even... Dominica, I want to say her name correctly. She was like, well, I was offended because Tommy asked, like, anyone offended by what she said? She's like, I was offended. I don't want to be demeaned just because I'm having a good time. I had some drinks.
Right.
And it's a pool party, so I'm having fun. And it didn't need to go
that way.
And
even Swasey was like, she wasn't really being that loud. Even some of the guys were like, yeah, it wasn't that. Right. And so Zo was like, hey, by the way, you fake as... She's like, how am I fake? I don't know, but you fake as... He put it in there a couple of times.
He put it in there. I mean, like, he's like, I'm not feeling you. I don't want to be any part of you. And I'm going to call you out at the same time I called you out.
He called her laughable. And here's what he said. Because he also said that after he left the show, after he was told he wasn't ready for... Or actually, he left because he never was not told.
That's right.
After he left the show, that she reached out to him and was like, hey, what's up? He's like, no, you fake. I ain't trying to rock with you.
He's like, I don't want to be bothered.
And then he brings up, he's like, you had to drug me like you drugged that man. So we were sitting there like, what in the world is he talking about? So found on someplace else, but I confirmed that basically from 2019, it looks like there was a charge against Charisse for essentially hitting a guy and essentially driving about 10 blocks with him on the hood of her car.
Like she was in Wakanda forever.
So, don't know the outcome of it. I think it looks like it was eventually dismissed.
But from Black Panther. You remember the scene out of back? She thought she was...
So, yeah.
Oh, God. I'm like, this is rough.
So, yeah. So, Zo was not feeling her.
No, he was ready. He was like, he was fully loaded, and he was going to load it.
And what was funny for me was even the reactions of folks in the back that were backstage. They were like, body blow, body blow, body blow. Knock him out. Because he was jabbing.
He was
jabbing. Every time she said something, he was countered, and it was like, yeah, he landed a blow there too. So then we switch attention to Mike and Brandy. And we do see the unseen scene or never before seen footage as far as Mike having the conversation with Kayla to let her down, right?
Right. And we knew, I was like, okay, so if he's picking her, he must have talked to her, right? At least on the phone. Some way to have closure. Everybody needs closure.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they were able to show us those scene, that scene now that, okay, they did have a conversation. And so she knew that she wasn't being chosen. So.
Yeah. But then the question comes up, of course, Tommy's like, Tommy kind of throwing in some, let's see who takes the bait. So he asked the question, as far as Brandy, she's like, yeah, he chose me because I had a stronger connection. Kayla rolled her eyes out of her head again. And when Tommy turned to Kayla, Kayla's like, no, I don't think he had they had a better connection. And who was it then? Backstage, Kadian points out that the reason that Mike and Kayla didn't work out really was because Kayla kissed Zo. Because remember, Mike was talking about she kissing everybody.
That's what he kept saying. He said that at the beginning.
So it seems as if he took issue with her kissing. Maybe not Zo in particular, but she's kissing somebody else on the show early is what he may have felt. So that's what it was.
And that's when Zo and Swasey get into it because Swasey's like, yeah, because you're older than me or something. He was making some comment about age.
Swasey said something. Zo said something. Swasey said something back. Zo said something back. And next thing you know, Zo's leaving the building.
Right. He's like, I gotta go somewhere. I gotta make money. This ain't making me money. I don't need this. I don't need this. Yeah. I'm like, dude.
So also Dominica brings up, as far as Mike, she's like, look, it was like almost like she was kind of like, why didn't you try and pick me? It's kind of how it came off at first. But as confusing as that was, what she then brought up was like, by the way, he's still dating other people.
Yeah, I didn't. Now, the first part I get, she was like, why didn't we have a connection? Because she was like, we live in the same neighborhood. We went to the same school.
Graduated the same year at least. Whatever,
right,
yeah.
Graduated same. So she felt like, well, maybe there should have been like a natural connection because, right, hey, we got something to talk about. We live in the same neighborhood. So, I don't know. Like, and then she was like, well, you the one that wanted to get me out. And he was like, well, everyone had to deliberate on who goes. So it wasn't just me. Right. So that was weird. And then for her to try to throw him under the bus.
She
someone with a J, who would that be? Someone with a J and make strawberries?
It's somebody.
'Cause he did show it with strawberries.
He did. He might have.
Maybe she thought something because the girl brought the strawberries over to his house because he was giving it to Brandy. Because he had strawberries in the box.
He did have strawberries.
And might she said a girl with the strawberries.
There's a name on the box of what company is with or something. Somebody J making strawberries.
Making strawberries out there.
Listen, squad, get on that. Let's find out who that is. Right. Who is the J that makes strawberries in Miami? Let's know that. All right. So
it's like, okay.
A little later, so yeah, we talked about Swasey and Zo getting into their beef that I still don't understand. And later on, I don't think Swasey understands. He just knows he said something, I said something.
We said something, and then he said something, and then I decided I was going to handle it. I was going to give him some of this smoke. Okay. Taking my jacket off.
So then, Tommy points out there was a lot of yellow. Almost like they coordinated and said, we're going to wear yellow.
I thought they did. He was asking them, but they kind of laughed it off.
Right, but it was a lot of yellow being worn tonight. Then we get to Shakira. And if you remember Shakira is the one who really just, it wasn't the right time for her. She needed to do some healing because evidently there was a traumatic thing with ex-relationship or something.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So, Tommy's like, okay, how do you feel? And she's like, I still feel betrayed.
Right. And so when we got to look at the clip again and hear what
Katie said,
I was like, she didn't say much of anything.
Right.
It was just kind of alluded that something happened and maybe the approach of talking about it should change. And so Katie was like, but I really didn't say anything.
And she's like, I wasn't saying anything from a mean place either. I wasn't saying it trying to throw shade on you. I wasn't saying it to throw you under the bus. She was just like, I can't speak on that. Maybe you want to talk to them about it, whatever. She never really got into the specifics of it. In fact, some of the other folks, this tells me kind of even the viewpoint of the cast, because a lot of them were like, she milking this.
Or they said, we don't know any specifics.
Right.
So that means even the women in the lounge didn't know specifically
what the issue
was.
Yes.
So how could they tell something or how could you feel betrayed if nothing was actually really shared?
Right. So then, yes, it does. I can see where it's like, okay, yeah, you found a storyline and you're trying to milk it.
Right. Because I'm like, when people can't say what it is, then either something didn't happen, like you really didn't tell your supposedly truth.
Right.
You just alluded to something, which leaves people to assumption.
Right.
So.
Right. And I think that's so no one's saying that she doesn't have a traumatic experience that happened to her.
No, I'm not saying
we're not denying that.
No.
We're simply saying the blow up where it's like, you've betrayed me, you've put my business out in the streets.
Right.
We don't see that.
We're not getting that.
That's not what, and that's not just based upon Kadian's denial.
No, that's the whole cast. The entire
cast.
They're like, what happened?
What's she talking about?
When this happened? I don't even get it.
Yeah, I mean, when you got somebody saying, "Oh, here we go, she milking it," and so then even at the end, Katie was like, "Look, I hope it helped your modeling career. Get your campaigns up, get your stuff going on. Do you? Hope you got your auditions going well for you." So. To me, that tells me that the cast, or at least some of the members of the cast, are like, you're just using this as a stepping stone to get it further into your career.
Right.
Cool. Just don't use somebody else for that.
Well, don't put me as the villain, right?
Right.
Because if you're going to be a victim, somebody has to be the villain.
Right.
So
then, a little later, we also get to LJ. And LJ trying to create his own
colony.
His own colony. Because Shakira, Trinika, Looney, and Charisse are all on the couches. Him and Trinika are holding hands periodically. She's, putting her arm in his arm. But we find out that pretty much all of them except for Shakira are at some point still dating LJ.
Right. They have their day for hanging out with him.
Yeah.
Whatever works for you. Whatever works.
And because evidently there was something said at the white party about polyamorous. And Looney was like, oh, now y'all want to jump on the polyamorous bandwagon because now we all dating the same guy. So LJ's like, look, it is what it is. I'm kind of here. We're seeing where things go. Who knows? Okay. So then we get towards the end of this episode. And again, I appreciate with this reunion, I think they've done, there was a lot of reactions by the cast members as things were going on. And they did a good job, in my opinion, of capturing that. Because it does give some insight into kind of some of the other dynamics that we didn't get a chance to see. And even how, I hate to say it because it's almost like we're making it like Survivor, but how some of the people are aligned, right?
Right, yeah.
Who's in whose corner, right? So Kadian, who was in some respects also made to be a villain. There's her beef with what's the girl's name? Charisse. Yes. Because they kind of go through all the beefs that happen throughout the series or throughout the episodes, right? So we get to Kadian versus Charisse. And Charisse brings up a sugar daddy comment, right? And Kadian's like, that don't make sense because I don't even talk like that, right? And she's like, no, I did that. And, you did say that. You did say sugar daddy. And Katie is like, well, you called me when we talked, and Sharice is like, I never called you.
You called me. So I don't know, because then you hear Samson says, well, I've heard her say sugar daddy before. So I don't know what exactly went down.
Right.
Because supposedly at the beginning, Katie mentions that she was associated with Charisse at the beginning.
Right.
And then everybody's like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden that changed, and then they had that big blow up fight.
Yeah.
While they were at the restaurant.
So, and I forgot that, but there was not Charisse, but Kadian had put on her IG a couple of days ago.
Oh, did she? The receipts?
She put some receipts out there, and I'll see if I can post some of these pictures that I have on the, so you guys can see. But basically, she shows a lot of her texting back and forth with Charisse, and in there she does say that they were friends at first. There's some things in there, but you can see just looking at it, there's a lot more interaction from Charisse than there is from Kadian. So Charisse does a lot more of the commenting or, texting, a lot more of the calling, figuring out what have you than Charisse does. And then there's also something else. Charisse does more than Kadian does. There's also a group chat, it looks like, with some information from her, Swasey, and Kadian. So Sharice, Swasey, and Kadian. So I'll go ahead and put that part of this video so you guys can see. And I may put it in the community chat. We'll see. But yeah, so it's interesting. But towards the end of it, of course, they then start to get really into it. And Kadian's like, I will beat your yellow wearing behind.
She said, I'm going to slap you.
And
Sharice says,
gets
do
up,
it.
Stands up, do it.
Slap me.
And who was sitting next to her?
It was
Justice?
Yes.
It was Justice.
Yes.
And so Sharice does long enough so that Justice can hold her back.
She's
like, do it. But hold me back, please. Make sure, because my money would be on Kadian.
My money would be on Kadian.
I'm sorry, my money would be on Kadian. Because here's one way I can tell. Because Kadian is just sitting there like, I will do it. She's not getting animated. She's like, she's gonna handle it. Whereas Sharice is full of bluster again. What I would call the fakeness of Sharice. Looks like she's just trying to, again, sell wolf tickets. So that's my thoughts. All right. But then the second half of this reunion special is looking
I'm ready to go. I'm already ready to go to the second half. Just go ahead and give me a second half. But this time I'll make sure I have my popcorn ready.
Yes.
Because I'm trying to figure out what happened between Randall
and
Jamala. And then what else is going on or not going on.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, again, I didn't like the energy in the beginning. Everybody was real low energy. Mm-hmm. And then everybody want to fight. And so some of the castmates don't like that too. It's like, why are y'all fighting? Mm-hmm. So I think this is the first cast I've seen like get into altercations where they like a couple of people wanting to fight each other.
Yeah. I think we've seen, of course, the arguments, right? We've seen
they may argue, but when they talking about, I'm gonna put hands on you.
Yeah, when Swasey stand up and start taking off his jacket,
he's like, I'm gonna put hands on you, and then the women like calling each other out loud, calling them bees, and I'm gonna slap you. So, I think we just have to do our best to show our best.
Yeah,
you can't help what someone else does, but you can help what you want to be portrayed and show on the show. So,
yeah.
But hey, it's happened. It's already done. It's said. Hopefully, nobody have hand marks on their face.
Yeah.
And had a good night.
So,
in spite of. So,
we'll see. All right. So that's it for this one. We will see you all next time. Have a great one. Be blessed.
Bye.